Welcome to Primitive Archer TV. So this is a continuation of episode 4 where I started building a bow based on the BowSet Calculator. Here you can see I'm just trimming off the belly of the stave, and I'm trying to make this bow break the world record, and I've only got 5 days left to do it. So I've got the belly trimmed, and here I'm showing you I've got a little bit of prop twist, but we'll take care of that later. It's not too bad. So right now the world record is 350 yards for a 50-pound bow, and I'm trying to not only break it, but I want to see if I can get a 50-pound bow to the 400-yard mark. Now here you see I'm showing you where I've trimmed down the tips. That is in preparation for recurving them, and here I'm sanding them down to get the saw marks off the edge, because the saw marks on the edge and the belly will give points for the recurve to break. Also, I need to round off the edges. Now here I've got my recurve jig set up there, and I'm making sure the tips actually fit well in it. Just going to set those tips inside of a pot of boiling water for an hour. After an hour, I take them out and I put them inside the recurve jig. Now what I'm lifting up there with my left hand is an old push-pull saw. I use that as a backing so that the wood splinters keep pushed down. The belly of the bow is what's facing up with the saw blade on it. And you're watching this in real time. Not anymore. But that was how long it takes to push it down into a recurve. And here you see I've got it good. There's no splinters. What I'm doing there is I'm putting some heat to it to help set the bend and get a little bit of water on it. And there you see the finished product of that recurve. We're going to rinse and repeat and stick it back in the pot of boiling water. And it is a rolling boil. Oh, camp stove there off of butane, I highly recommend. And back into it again we go. I only set it in there for 45 minutes. I was in a hurry. You can see me struggling a little more here. And I actually splintered a little bit right just about a split second before I said I started to splinter a little bit. Right when it got easier. And as a result, you can see a gap form between the major point of the recurve and the jig right there. And you can see the splinter that formed, but the saw did its job, keeping the splinter down. So that was the finished product there while it sat. I got it off. You can see the splinter hanging out really bad right there, but don't worry, that's going to get removed. There's a reason why I make the recurve so thick. Another view of it. You can see we've definitely got that propeller twist I was talking about earlier. And you can see how bad that one limb closest to the camera is. But we're going to set it on this jig, and we're going to fix that. Clamp down the handle to secure it, like centering it. Make some marks there for it. I'm clamping it on the edge, I'm not clamping it in the center. Clamping on the edge, that needs to go towards center. So clamping it off center forces that edge down more than the other. And I spend what feels like an eternity with a heat gun here, warming it up. I'll warm it up until I smell the wood start changing scent. It's like, are we done yet? So I'll continue doing that until that the belly there is nice and hot. Switch sides, do the same. And while I'm doing that, I'll actually tighten up the clamps too. And that'll bring those recurves in alignment. Let it cool off before pulling it off the clamps. There you can see we've definitely got a much better product than we had to start with. Now compare that to what we started with. Now we have a very nicely laid out and recurved bow blank. The next episode we're going to trim that down to bow dimensions, get it bending, and get a string on it. So thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next episode.